Shabbat shalom to everybody here. I hope that I can be heard very clearly. It's a great privilege to be here at Sinai Temple. I want to begin by expressing my profound thanks to Rabbi Sherman, to Rabbi Guzik, also to Mr. Gary Feynman, without whom I would not be here today. Thank you very much for getting me here on time. Yes, he does deserve a round of applause, that fellow. Yeah. And I also want to wish a mazal tov to the Bar Mitzvah family. I don't know too much about you, but you're exceptionally well dressed. And I know about this stuff. I hope that you go from strength to strength. Joshua, may you always be a proud Jew, living in the ethos of your dear parents, as I'm sure they've transmitted to you. Very, very briefly, as you heard from Rabbi Sherman, my name is Benjamin. I am a retired sergeant in the Israel Defense Forces. 20 years ago today, I was fighting inside southern Lebanon against Hezbollah, which gives you some understanding of the permanence of our fight for freedom and for peace. I'm also a veteran of Operation Pillar of Defense in 2012, Operation Protective Edge in 2014, and I am retired in order to take part and to fight in Operation Swords of Iron after the massacre launched against us on October 7th, serving inside the Gaza Strip. I'm also a veteran of serving at another battlefield, your university campuses. As the rabbi expressed, I have spoken at more than 450 campus presentations throughout the United States of America, bringing the proud truth of Israel's soldiers to the campuses and to the communities throughout this great land. And finally, I am the co-founder and CEO of the MirYam Institute. I will be giving a much longer talk in the Khan Chapel after services, to which I want to invite all of you. And I will be speaking about a unique initiative of our work that brings current and future officers, not of the Jewish faith, from the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps on a 4-day tour of Poland to the death camps, followed by a 12-day strategy and policy tour of the State of Israel. I mention that because the military personnel of this country represent a bright spot in a very foreboding sky. There are 2 points I want to make with the remainder of my time, both of which are regarding the connection between the State of Israel and the people of Israel, including the people of Israel, the Jewish people right here in this sanctuary, because it is an inextricable link that exists. Ladies and gentlemen, from my time on your university campuses that I plied between the years of 2007 and 2020, I learned, to my horror, that Jew hatred was alive and well in America. I learned that in academia, from the root to the fruit, from the grass tops to the grassroots and back again, the rot had set in. But I also knew that our haters were begrudgingly knocked into silence because they had to acknowledge that despite their hopes that the other would be the case, there was a Jewish entity somewhere over there in the Middle East that seemed to be invulnerable. That entity is, of course, the one and only Jewish state of Israel. After our victories of 48 and 67 and 73 and so on and so forth. But after October the 7th, it behooves us to ask ourselves, why did that latent Jew hatred that I'd seen on your campuses reveal itself? And the answer is that those who despise us here rationalized as Israel fought desperately for her existence on the heptagonal ropes of the ring in which we fought. They rationalized that if the state of Israel might be ripe for the destruction, perhaps the Jewish people here may be ripe for the very same. And so they attacked us when we were weak and when we were at our most vulnerable. And they were like Amalek in that sense. The horror of that is not that Jew haters have come en masse. I could make a case that that is to our benefit. The horror of that, my friends, is that they have learned that they can peddle this ancient hatred with neither fear of penalty or punishment. And in the case of Zoran Mandani, they have proven they may be positively rewarded. What you saw after October 7th was a preview of what a Jewish existence might look like in the absence of a Jewish state. And you don't want that type of existence. And I leave you with one thought. Even great friends of the State of Israel have expressed that without them, Israel might be obliterated. That's not correct. Israel does not endure because of the actions of politicians or statesmen and women. Israel endures because of the courage and the sacrifice of our soldiers and because of the sanctity and security provided by our God. And so I appeal to you, as our opponents seek to strike a divide in your hearts between your Americanism, your Judaism, and your Zionism, to be inspired to speak up in our defense, time and time again, as often as is needed, and to remember the words of the poem, The Epitaph. The Epitaph is recited by British schoolboys and schoolgirls every year when we commemorate the loss of our service personnel in Britain's wars. And in that composition, there is a line that depicts a dying soldier in the battlefield pleading with his living comrade, brother in arms, who is about to be shipped home to England, the following. He says, quote, "When you go home, tell them of us and say that for their tomorrow we gave our today." When you go home, tell them of us and say that for their tomorrow we gave our today. We speak insufficiently about Israel's soldiers. When you leave here, whether to home, your businesses, your workplaces, your communities, speak of our soldiers and say that for our tomorrow, they gave their today. Because they did, by their many hundreds. And that is the sacrifice that leaves us still aspirational towards realizing our greatest hope, that of Shalom al Israel. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.